America is on fire in the summer of 1919. In dozens of cities, black and white communities clash in a wave of violence that will be remembered as the Red Summer. But out of the ashes, a new and powerful force arises that will change America forever. This is the story of how lies, rumors, and propaganda turned the summer of 1919 blood red. During the First World War, with American soldiers overseas and immigration from Europe cut off, factories in the North face a severe labor shortage. They find a solution in the South. Across the South, thousands of black Americans struggle to make a living, often working as maids, porters, or sharecroppers. They earn little, but few dare to raise their objections. Despite slavery being abolished 50 years ago, very little has changed here. Northern factories recruit thousands of black workers, offering better pay and more opportunities in the modern cities of the North. This marketing strategy pays off. 500,000 black Americans leave the fields and move into the streets of northern cities in what becomes known as the Great Migration. But after the war, as military veterans pour back into overcrowded job markets, unemployment rises and prices soar. White workers, fearing they'll be replaced by cheaper labor, turn their anger on the newcomers. With black workers unable to join most of the white-dominated unions, they take whatever work they can get, often getting paid less than their white counterparts. As a result, black workers are framed as anti-union scabs. Meanwhile, many black Americans begin to see through the propaganda that brought them into the northern cities.
The northern people are no more willing to accord social equality to the Negro than are the southern people.
Inflation soars, raising the cost of living. Over 4 million workers stage thousands of strikes, demanding better pay. To break the deadlock, employers pit black and white workers against each other. In Gary, Indiana, U.S. Steel hires hundreds of black men to break up a union strike. They sweeten the deal by offering free accommodations, overtime pay, and entertainment. When a streetcar carrying dozens of black strikebreakers stalls on the tracks, hundreds of white union men see their chance. They attack the streetcar and the men huddling inside. Southern newspapers add fuel to the fire, framing black Americans as a problem that their northern neighbors will now have to deal with.
If the black man will stay where he belongs, act like a Negro should act, talk like a Negro should talk, there will be very few riots.
And in Chicago, white street gangs wait for black meatpackers to leave the stockyards and then assault them with bricks and bats, killing a few and wounding more. Fighting spreads across the city. For days, white and black citizens attack each other on sight. Dozens of people die, and hundreds more are injured. As violence continues growing across the country, many black Americans, especially veterans returning from the war, come to a startling realization.
After mustering out of the Army, I found myself in the midst of one of the bloodiest race riots in U.S. history. It came to me that I had been fighting the wrong war. A lot of other black veterans were having the same thoughts.
Over 350,000 black Americans served in the First World War, fighting to protect American interests abroad. But another war waits for them when they return home.
The return of the Negro soldier to civil life is one of the most delicate and difficult questions confronting the nation.
In Norfolk, Virginia, black veterans return to a homecoming celebration held in their honor. A white mob attacks the soldiers. The local police call in Marines and Navy personnel to restore order. At least 6 people are shot. After getting a taste of equality while fighting alongside the French, many black veterans refuse to return to second-class status.
We return. We return from fighting. We return fighting.
In Washington, D.C., mob violence breaks out after a rumor spreads that a black man assaulted a white woman. The rioters, many of them in uniform, pull black citizens out of streetcars and beat them.
The mobs have assaulted innocent and unoffending Negroes in the national capital. Men in uniform have attacked Negroes on the streets.
But when police refuse to intervene, black residents take matters into their own hands, arming themselves and organizing local resistance. After 4 days of fighting, President Woodrow Wilson calls in the National Guard to restore order. By riot's end, dozens of people lay dead or injured, both black and white. The D.C. riot of 1919 is one of the few race riots in American history in which white fatalities outnumbered black ones.
If we must die, let it not be like hogs. Like men, we'll face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back.
In response to the retaliatory violence, newspapers used the language of war to dramatize the events, making each riot feel like another battle in a vast military campaign. To a nation still in shell shock from the destruction of the First World War, it feels like another war is beginning just down the street. The federal government watches events unfold with growing fear and paranoia. Black America's resistance to white authority has become more organized and disciplined. Government officials begin to fear a socialist revolution.
The American Negro returning from abroad would be our greatest medium in conveying Bolshevism to America.
J. Edgar Hoover, leader of the General Intelligence Division of the Bureau of Investigation, insists that black unrest is influenced by communist propaganda.
The Negroes of this country are the object of a vicious and apparently well-financed propaganda which is directed against the white people. Documents in the possession of the authorities show that among the radical organizations active in this propaganda are radical socialist elements and Bolsheviki.
Federal surveillance of black leaders had actually begun years earlier, during the war, under the suspicion that German spies were trying to spark a race war in the South. The Bureau monitors black newspapers and black social and political leaders. Hoover sees foreign radicals lurking in every shadow.
Make thorough investigation to determine whether race riots your city due to propaganda among Negro element by radicals.
After the riot in Washington, D.C., the Bureau sends a team of special agents to investigate the motives behind black resistance. The agents are surprised by the defiance and resolve of black Washingtonians, but they don't find any evidence of communist infiltration.
No evidence of radical or class leadership or in any way connected with radical or Bolshevik propaganda.
But Hoover's belief in the Red Terror is unshaken. When black sharecroppers in Arkansas form a union to demand fair payment from white planters, government officials don't see a story of farmers seeking justice. They see radicals plotting insurrection. In Elaine, Arkansas, black sharecroppers formed the Progressive Farmers and Household Union to protest exploitation by white planters. One evening, roughly 100 black farmers and their families meet in a church to discuss an upcoming strike. Armed guards keep watch outside. A white deputy sheriff and a white detective approach the building. Gunshots ring out, and the detective falls dead. News of the killing spreads fast. A mob of about 300 white men forms and combs the countryside, sparking skirmishes with black citizens. Some of the black Union members are war veterans. They fall into formation and fire back at the mob. The fighting in Elaine is among the deadliest moments of the Red Summer. Hundreds of black Americans are killed, along with 5 whites. Black survivors are put on trial for murder. White and black newspapers report on the events very differently. The Elaine Massacre, as it becomes known, ignited with a labor dispute, erupted into organized violence, and emerged into a story of a socialist uprising. But out of the chaos and carnage of the Red Summer rises something new, a collection of voices and experiences that together mark the birth of the new Negro.
In all discussions of the recent racial riots against blacks, there is reflected the note of pride that the Negro has found himself, that he has fought back, that never again will he tamely submit to violence and intimidation.
In the last decade, something beyond the watch and guard of statistics has happened in the life of the American Negro. For generations in the mind of America, the Negro has been more of a formula than a human being, a something to be argued about, condemned or defended, to be kept down or in his place. The day of aunties, uncles, and mammies is gone. For the younger generation is vibrant with a new psychology. The new spirit is awake in the masses.
The fires of 1919 dim, but the stories that captured them still shape America today. At the edge of every protest, every headline, every flicker of flame, lingers the shadow of the Red Summer. History doesn't just happen, it's written.